All right, in this episode, we're going over Yoda. We needed quite a few small little things to do it, and it's perfect for Baxter, who's a new co-op student here, who's working out really, really well. We are going to go over the front end here, brakes, roll bar, we're gonna install a winch, we're gonna install some lights, we're gonna put the wood back on the roof rack so we can put the tent back on it again and make this thing ready for some camping this summer. Here we go. Overlanders, we've never done this before.
Oh, maybe that's what the rocking was. I should show you the problem immediately.
How far are we gonna go with this thing? I think we'll rewire it, but I think I'm going to let one of my employees do that. We finally got an OM606. So I'm having the young guy there. We had a little bit of wiring issues, but we're learning. Yeah. Because I'd much rather have you fail right now than later on.
Truck don't start.
Could be in Africa or somewhere, and elephants and lions close to us, and it'll be a disaster. We bought these Land Rovers because they didn't have any rust. So we thought, well, we sent somebody out to take a look at them, and he says it's really weird. The whole thing is rust free except for this door. Let me show you. So on a normal car, the door would open, but this is the Landy and it doesn't really open. But anyway, we managed to find 2 rear doors and a rear hatch the very last day while we were there, and we told them to send them with us when they shipped the trucks. I guess we swapped the door. This one's got a little bit of corrosion on the bottom of the aluminum, but this is an aluminum panel on top of like a steel frame, and the steel frame is just rotten where there's nothing else is rotten. It's probably just the seal back here, but let's change the door. Of course, the latch is broken. The trick is to put your thumb just so. Ow! Oh no. Oh no. Ah, there we go. And as you can see, I broke this a little bit. It's a little bit brittle. It was already all cracked and glued here. And then this was the issue. This is ugly. This is like an Ontario truck. The nice thing is half of these clips will be missing that hold this door panel on, and we can take those and put them on the half that are missing over there. It's just pulling this thing off here, and that's just this little clip that you pull off just like the GMs. A couple screws here and there, and there, and there, and there. And this will pop right off. One screw back there. 2 screws back here. Now, I knew nothing about Land Rovers when I first bought them, like nothing at all. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be an expert without even rebuilding one. I still love them. I think they're just the coolest little quirky, oddball, weird trucks. Land Rovers are like canker sores. Once you have one, I think you always have one. It's not like a great thing. It's not something you brag about maybe necessarily, but I can't see myself getting rid of these, and I don't know why. I mean, that's almost easier than a Jeep. Okay, so the whole thing was that I didn't want to paint this door, because once you get into the door, you'll never match it to the front and the back. It's going to be as mismatched as it is right now. You can see the shade is off just slightly, and I think I could polish this door to bring the shine out, which will make it look a little bit more like that. Because honestly, if you paint one door, you're into a full body off resto if you've ever seen the channel. We don't want that. We want to drive this thing and enjoy it. Drive it for what it is, which is a cool, used off-road vehicle. It doesn't need to be, because if I paint it, then I can't take it off-road anymore. So anyway, my gaps are pretty good all the way up except for this corner. Like the top is nice and even, the front is all nice and even. The bottom is okay. That angle's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. It's a Landy thing. But the stripe is off, and that's okay, because then now we can just put a new stripe on there. It'll take their attention away from the door, and the fact that the paint doesn't match 100%, but you'll be looking at that stripe and you'll never even know. Kind of like the old muscle cars. They started putting the hockey sticks on the side, and the only reason for that is not because it looked cool, it was that the quarter panels were so big at the back, it was hard to make them look good or not wavy or not lined up. So just put this big giant sticker on there. There's no way it was ever gonna look good. All right, so a few things with our door. This plate has all different holes and is a different size than this plate was. So this one has 3 holes with a support behind it. This one has 0 support and just a homemade plate in the back. This one has a provision for a wiper. This one actually has a wiper. They both have a brake light, both which were not working because that wire is gone and this wire was broken. This one's full of corrosion. All on the bottom is just starting to happen. And this one's super clean, but it has a couple scratches on. I'll take the scratches over top of the corrosion. And this one has been to the Moremi Game Reserve and the Gobi National Park. So now we've got those stickers to add. Plus this is nice tinted window, which is just starting to come apart a little bit right there, but we'll worry about that later. We don't have a wiper switch. We don't have the wiring for the wiper. So that depends on how far we're gonna go with this thing. I think we'll rewire it. I like wiring, but I think I'm going to let one of my employees do that. I'm gonna put this door on just so that we can clean up this paint and look on the outside. We're gonna make our own plate that will line up with the holes there, and we'll just cut this eye off and put that in the right spot. For now, I'm gonna take that off just because we're just driving local around anyway. And we're gonna clean this stuff up so that I get some tape and put the license plate actually underneath my license plate light. Just little stuff like that, because once I get into it, I don't have all the time to devote to this right now. We got other stuff to do. I just wanna put these doors on because I've moved them a couple times. I don't wanna scratch them any farther. They made it all the way from South Africa with only that scratch there, and that might have even happened before. I wanna keep it that way. I might have to move the handle over because then the lock, the key still works, but other than that, we're gonna pop this thing back on again. That way we can also sell that door. If you guys want this door, I don't know, we'll list it somewhere, and then it might be better than what you got, and you should totally buy this door. Now, I don't think this one had the plastic on the inside because I think that hit in here. So it just had that aluminum plate, and we're gonna keep that. We'll probably just paint that. I'm deciding whether we should bed liner this, the hood, the fender flares, and the roof. I think that would look pretty good, that aluminum piece right there, and then that piece as well. We'll think about that, but that will really add quite a bit to this. So if we can clean up the white paint, we've got no corrosion and rust holes there. We've got one spot right here, and there must have been something bolted here. So what we can do is clean this up, fix it, and then bolt something there again to cover up that this little piece, because I don't want to replace that piece. But then she'll look minty. Yeah, and we got a couple of oil leaks, as you can see on the ground there. But we're gonna make this thing so we can drive it this year. So imagine this is a Bronco in like stage 1. EFI, but old mismatched panels and whatever, but fully functional, because I can't wait to go camping with the family in this thing, just locally. Here we go. All right, so we had Baxter put this little winch on the Gator. It's a little Amazon special just for pulling out the lawnmower and that occasionally. He did such a nice job. Got some decent welds. He made this bracket for it, and then he sanded down the full grill guard and painted it. That we're getting him to now do the fender. We have to move this plate up just an inch to fit our winch. We grabbed a Warren Evo. It said 90-pound winch, but it's a good one. You know, it's a good one when you get a hernia putting it in place. But what we're doing, we slapped this together. There's a bunch of bolts missing. One little support here is rotten, so we're gonna fix that. Take this off and paint this. Paint the hood and these little black panels into a nice matte black. Perfect for Baxter. Here we go. All right, so we got the young guy, Baxter here. He welded up some nice plates for my lights because the lights were bouncing around. so he can drill the holes once the lights are in place. But he sanded it down, just took a couple of stone chips away, and then he welded in support for the winch. And actually when we run the winch now, it's not gonna pull this off the truck and make us all look sad and cry. What's going on, Baxter?
I'm building a bracket for the winch. Built this little spacer here, it's just 1-inch tubing.
And then you had to relocate the brackets that go into the...
Well, I gotta weld them on there yet.
Yeah.
Just getting it all fitted in.
Nice. So the winch was already on, you test fitted that, and then it didn't fit originally, the bracket on the side here, this guy back here, and that's because this C was the same size as our bumper, so it didn't actually fit around. We had to make it so that it actually fit. That brought this back. That meant the winch hit the grill. That means we had to bring the winch out. And now when we use the winch, it won't rip this entire bumper off and make Baxter look like a, what would you call somebody that puts something on and doesn't work?
Donkey.
So we don't want to make Baxter look like a donkey. And then we're going to do a really nice job mounting that winch properly, doing the wiring really nice and neat. The bull bar looks really good painted. So we're going to do the same with this and the hood. If my cat would stop walking on it. But she's got to make sure there's no mice and stuff in there. So you enjoy the painting?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, good. Just not as a career, just once in a while, just a little bit. But this doesn't really, this doesn't really match that. So we'll paint that. We're picking up a sandblaster this week. We'll sandblast these cabinets just because they're checker plated and there was a whole bunch of paint coming off of them. We'll paint the outside of this, and then we're just going to do this plate and the bottom, and then also the maybe just the steps. And then everything will kind of match nice, and it'll look 100% better. All right, so we got Baxter, the young guy. He's finding a nice spot to attach the winch up to, and I think we're just gonna go onto the starter with that and then replace the starter cable with something nice and big and heavy. And then the winch is pretty well done along with the front end. Clean up all this little bit of wiring, but that looks absolutely fantastic. That's a nice nice upgrade for that. I'm gonna go get the cabinet sandblasted, and then we can paint those to match, and he's gonna put some nice lights on the roof rack along with the white oak that Andy is cutting right now.
Today we've put in a winch for the fender. I made the mount a couple days ago, and we just had to hook up all the wiring. So back here is your positive. It's good practice to put this covering on here, because if it starts to rub and goes through, it's gonna start sparking. We didn't have enough wire from the winch to run it to the battery, so Rich told me to hook it up right here on the starter, because it always has power to it, but when you turn your key over, it switches this solenoid. So there's solenoid that goes down here, and when you turn your key on to start your motor, this goes up here and engages the starter. This is the wire that brings the positive from the battery up, so it's connected, so it's always gonna have the power it needs. It's not gonna rely on the solenoid. We ran all the wiring. It's not totally done back here. I gotta push some of this down, and I gotta zip tie this more hidden, but it's nice to have a clean look behind here and make it look like you didn't do anything. It's gonna turn out pretty good.
All right, so Yoda's in the shop. Barbie's right here. We're driving both of them because I love these quirky old vehicles, but they're gonna be even more fun to drive because we finally got an OM606. But the best part is on this side, because we finally got one with a turbo after we found out that it's about 10 grand from Mercedes to change an NA engine into a turbo. Now, we've been after this engine for a while, and we make plans, but plans change. So right now the plan is Barbie is beautiful, but she had a lot of small little issues with it, and I don't feel comfortable selling it without going over the whole truck. I got to put my name on it if I sell Barbie. I think I want to pull the engine and retorque the rods and mains, make sure that that's good, retorque the head, reset the valves, go over everything, make sure that every nut and bolt is tight, and that I'm confident when I sell it. But if I do that, the engine's already out. And Yoda's engine, the TDI, is getting kind of tired. So what I was thinking, the TD5 would actually work really good in Yoda, and this thing would look really good in Barbie because it's already pretty. And if we put this stout engine in there, turn it up just a little bit, maybe add a 6th gear to that, that thing will be incredible. Or maybe we should put this in the Wagoneer. I don't know. I want to hear you guys' opinions. And I also want to tell you that Yoda and Barbie are for sale. We're going to do a left-hand conversion to them, make them nice and drivable in North America. We're good to sell them as they are, but I kind of want to go over them and put my name in it, and thought that this would be a good plan. But likely both vehicles will be for sale. We'll sell one and then we'll fix up the other one to exactly the way we want it. If you want Yoda with this in there and we can strike a deal, we can do that too. But yeah, comment down below or hit us up at thebossgarage@gmail.com and we'll figure something out. We don't need 2 Defenders. One of them is just fine. But here we go.
Slow and steady.
Yeah. Got a bit of lag to it.
Yeah, so it keeps, I think it's the sand more than anything, but it is worth it.
Yeah, the sand could be a bit wet.
Yeah, I think so. That looks nice though.
Yeah.
All right, big wind warning today. It is windy, but we gotta get some stuff done here. I got the Woodland Mills HM130 Max Woodlander. Just got set up over at my place here. We're gonna cut up another piece of oak here. We're gonna get a few slabs on the Land Rover. When we brought it over, we couldn't export the wood because there could be bugs hiding in there, and we don't want to be eco-terrorists. So, I'm gonna get a bunch of wood cut up today. Let's go. Woo, baby. Come on. The block came off. Just over like 7 1/4 inches by 6 inches. Cut that in half, then we'll cut it into 1-inch thick slabs here. So I should be able to get 7 out of that. And this is just over 10 feet long, and we just need them 5 feet wide. So that means out of each cut here, I should get 28. I think we need 20. So I'll just cut the 28. That way we can take the best of the bunch. This is what we got out of it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14s. Then we're gonna cut all those in half. We'll have a couple extras there too, so. Always fun to go back to the old stomping grounds at DSS, the little secondary school. Yeah, I was playing down our white oak that we're using on the top of the Land Rover. So thank you, DSS. Always awesome to come back.
So I took these panels off the Defender. I drilled the rivets out, pulled them off, threw them in the sandblaster cabinet. I hit them with the Tremclad fast dry primer and some matte black paint. The hood doesn't fit in the cabinet, but I sanded out all the bad spots in it. Also hit it with the primer and the matte black, and we're gonna throw them on there now. We got the hood on there. When you tighten this bolt right here, don't tighten it too much because that's got to move when that hood goes up and down. And also with the hinges here, you don't have to unbolt these. You can tilt this hood all the way up and it pops out. It's just much easier than holding the hood up and taking those bolts out. We got rivets for this, but they're too big, so we're gonna go to town and get smaller ones. This is the size that we're thinking about here. And then I found this size, which will work pretty good. It's gonna look a lot cleaner with the smaller rivet. Also, another tip with painting, if you decide to get lazy or something when you're painting and you don't fully sand and prep it properly, anything you can feel, like if you can feel a little bump on your finger, even the smallest bump or the smallest groove, you're gonna see that through the paint. Like, see this dent right here? It's not gonna turn out how you want it to turn out if you quickly go by it with a piece of sandpaper, and you're not gonna like it. But I also painted these mirrors here matte black. These hinges went matte black. This trim around here went matte black. So did these hinges. And then here's the other mirror. But it's the little things really clean this Land Rover up. Like the wood on the roof, it looks pretty good. Cleaned it up a lot. Those lights we throw across there, they're gonna really clean it up. We got these KC lights on Amazon. We'll put the link in the description below. These lights come with 2 wiring harnesses. So for every 2 lights, there's 1 wiring harness. A switch right here, a fuse right here, and this goes to your battery. This light looks like it's about to fall apart, so we're gonna throw a new light on there. Just have a side light. It's gonna be on a separate switch than the front lights. So if you're out camping or something, it'll light up everywhere.
Oh, you're not in the middle.
Yeah, I am. I'm in the middle of the line.
It's not in the middle though. I can see, look, this gap is smaller than that gap. So we had the lights going this way, so that means we can only have the lights going up or down. We had a little bit of wiring issues, but we're learning, making it so we can spin the light and angle it up and down. One issue was that we were using speaker wire for lights, and that was not good enough for the amount of energy used to turn the lights on. So I'm gonna run to town and grab some shielded wire for them. Make sure we got some nice stuff. Toggle switches, bought from Amazon, and we'll get these lights working properly. All right, so after some better guidance, we've got a beautiful wiring harness here. Nice job, Baxter. I'm really happy with that. So now we can turn the lights and we can angle them up and down the way we want, so we can kind of, even though it's so hard, but we've got it nicely secured all the way along, and then we got a nice Deutsch plug at the end, nice 4-pin here. So everything is wonderful and factory looking, even though none of those pieces existed back in 1999 when that thing was built. So we got our shrink tube on there, so we can pop that on once he's got all the matching wires. Now he can figure out the wiring harness for inside the cab, and the entire truck will end up being built like this. The nice thing is, when you flip this thing over and the awning is on, you won't even see any of the wiring, because wiring is like makeup. You know, she did a good job when you can't tell she's wearing it. You did a good job wiring if nobody can tell that you did wiring. Yeah. So it sucks, because all day is like body work. You did a good job if nobody knows you actually did it. Yeah. And the only people that will know are the hundreds of thousands of people watching you and judging you on the internet, Baxter.
Yeah.
All right, the young lad there is putting a nice mount on there for the hammer. So we welded right there. Yeah, we welded a nice little bracket together, which just goes right over top. I think I'd rather bolt it rather than rivet it. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, the rivets are gonna let go after a while. Okay. So we'll put a bolt a little bit bigger, just a 5/16 bolt. Then we can unbolt it if we run into trouble somewhere we can't get the axe off, right? Yeah, better than drilling out rivets. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But that looks wonderful. I really like the color of the wood. That matches really nice. And the lights are now put in a perfect spot. Very, very nice. Good job, Baxter. You still have a job tomorrow. A few other things. I think once you get this is all double-sided tape holding the license plate on. We got to get that underneath the light. So Baxter here made his own little eraser out of what?
I'm not sure what it is. I just found it. I found it over there. I think it's for cleaning sandpaper, sandpaper wheels.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see if it burns off. I think if you get close to it, then the paint thinner might take it off that last little bit. But you got to get close to it. They're just too thick that it doesn't penetrate what's actually holding it on, right?
I'm just don't want to burn that paint.
Yeah, do it in the middle because that's where guaranteed my license plate is going to hide it. Look at that, eh?
It's kind of taking it off, eh?
Well, so it looks like it's doing more than it actually is, but I think you're just knocking the dirt off. I think you can be a bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
It's not hot at all. So what you want to do is try to get some off and then touch it right away. Make sure it's not too hot.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to burn the paint off and you don't want to wreck my drill either. Perfect. Not too hot?
No.
Give her. Okay, so we got the battery box here in Yoda, and I'm actually really happy with this. It's got a little vent in here for all of that fumigation that happens when when the batteries are right underneath your seat and you don't want to pass out from that. Yeah. So we cut out some of the bad wiring. I hate these. This is what we did in Africa. I'm pretty sure we did this. These clamps come loose. You got bad connections. So we're gonna fix all that with some soldered connections. I'm gonna show Baxter how to do that, but we're gonna get rid of all of this crap and kind of start over. So we're gonna follow these wires and let's see where they end up. Somebody put those, that might be for auxiliary power at the back, but we're gonna clean this up. We're gonna splash some paint on it, and then we're gonna secure the batteries properly with some hold downs, and then we're gonna put another relay box right here that'll run the all of these lights, because we added a lot of lights, the winch and whatever else, but we're gonna make this look nice and clean and nice and new. So I'm gonna vacuum this out. I'm gonna pull off on this rubber. We're gonna just buff it, scuff it up a bit, get a little bit of that rust out, and then we'll put a nice coat of just white paint on the bottom. We'll probably brush that in, help protect that. Start by putting new ends on there and then working from there. Got it?
Yep.
Everybody got?
Look at this.
Ooh, nice. You know what it is?
No.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. Movie player?
Movie player?
Yeah.
Well, there's no TV, so not likely. You're getting a little sophisticated for a 99 Toyota, but I can tell you that was very sought after at one point.
No, I don't know what it is.
It's a CD changer. You could put half a dozen of your favorite CDs in there, choose between them without having to switch while you're driving. Remove, just get rid of that.
You don't want it in there?
No, we don't have CDs anymore. And that panel, we can matte black that panel without getting too carried away.
Grouchy.
See, I'm not grouchy. Baxter thinks I'll be grouchy if I don't have my coffee, but I'm not addicted to anything. This guy's addicted to all sorts of different stuff.
I'm not addicted to anything.
He's addicted to...
I bet you couldn't go 3 hours without a coffee.
Oh, look at that, all nice and shiny. Both sides, they're gonna let that dry. We're gonna put new ends on here, and then we'll start mounting our boxes, our relay box, and then we're all set. Okay, so we cut the cables back, got a nice clean cable. It's got a battery clamp, vice grips. This one does not have solder in it, so now we got to put a little bit of paste in here. I'm running low on paste because they feel that they should only fill these things up to here when you buy them new. Put a little bit of paste on the wire, just because it gets jealous. I'm gonna grab the solder, pre-unroll the solder, light the brazing torch, and we want a nice like little blue flame. And you want to hear just a little this noise, kind of like a windy day. I'm just gonna melt some of that, warm up this cable a little bit. I'm gonna give you the solder with one hand.
Yep.
I'm gonna warm this up, and I'll tell you when you can start putting it in. So the solder melts first, and then it'll start to boil. And when it boils like this, you can hear it. You're almost ready. You want it nice and even all the way along. Okay, put some solder in there. It should just like almost instantly melt. We're gonna put about half of that in there. That's about good, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna go to this. Warm that up. Now I'm gonna give you the torch to hold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Pop this on. And now don't move. That's a lot of carbon. Don't forget your shrink wrap.
Did you put it on?
I did.
Oh,
see this? Whew. Now I messed up because I have one wire sticking out, and that's embarrassing. That is just a shame. But that can cool. And now you get to make your battery cable clamp ends, and I get to hold the camera and judge you on what you've learned. You want it right about there. Don't be scared.
I'm not scared.
You look scared.
I'm not scared.
So you want to give it less fuel. So you want to bring the flame to the tip. So it's pretty violent. You just need like a little bit. Ah! Bring the flame down. So it's not quite touching. Yeah, just now it's touching. See that? Now add the oxygen just a tiny bit. That's all you need.
I'll warm this up.
Yeah, just a little bit. And you want to, nope, not on the top. You don't want to heat the solder, you want to heat the metal casing. There you go. And all the way around. So that's the paste boiling, right?
Yep.
I'll lift it up a bit. Okay, now hold your wire over top so it warms up a bit. Yeah. And now pop it up. Stick it in. Your wire should stick in. And now don't move.
You're moving, Rich.
I know. There you go. As soon as it cools down, it'll just hit that point and it'll just solidify, and then you are golden.
Thanks.
And then we'll crimp the copper end on the other end, and that will be our little connection between the two batteries, and you're all set.
Yeah, it'll be pretty sweet.
You can almost feel it, like something changes, and then so give it a good tug afterwards, making sure that you can't pull it apart.
Yeah.
Because I'd much rather have you fail right now than later on.
Truck don't start.
Then the truck don't start, because then it could be in Africa or somewhere, and elephants and lions close to us, and it'll be a disaster.
Yeah. So you think it's good to try out now?
Lick it with your tongue, and if it hurts, then it's still too early. A little more. Should be able to bottom it out. Once it's bottomed out, it's bottomed out. Don't break my tool.
Should be good.
It is just Amazon China, so. So that looks like a nice solid crimp all the way around. You're gonna put the vice grips on it, give her a little tug.
Yep.
Pass the test. A little bit of shrink wrap on there.
Yeah.
And
grab it.
beautiful. Okay, and the paint job turned out beautiful. Be a shame if somebody sprayed fluid film all over it and protected that underneath this oily mess, but it will last forever. So now we're gonna mount the relay box and then put the batteries back in it again, put the wood back in it again, and this will look like a brand new vehicle, better than new. So we got the battery there, we got the cables coming through here, we got a grommet slipped out, but we'll glue that in. We've got a rubber mat on the bottom, so we've got it painted. We threw a little bit of oil on there, then we did a mud flap on the bottom, and then we've got our battery terminals coming nicely there. Now imagine these sick little cables that the young guy there made up.
Yep.
And they will go to the second battery there. What are you making now?
I built a panel, like a mount for the fuse panel. I got a welded bracket on there.
Yeah.
And that should mount like that, so you can change your fuses if you need to.
Yep.
And then it'll unbolt if you need to change your relay.
Nice. And I realized that I don't think there's anything hooked up to this one anymore.
No.
No, so you might as well get rid of that.
Except for this, I don't know. I gotta trace that wire.
Well, that wire went to the positive on the battery, which fed that fuse panel, but I don't know what wires went to that fuse panel.
Yeah, they're for the back, for those plugs. Right?
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
there was a mystery wire that went to the back, but you're running all new wires nicely along the top. We've got lights in the cabinets now, and then we'll show the young guy how to hook up this massive wires. You love wiring, don't you?
not at all. I like building this bracket more than I liked wiring.
So wiring sucks until you understand it, and when you can make it look really, really nice, like nice and neat and tidy, it is actually very satisfactory, but it takes a long time. But we'll wire that up nice and neat and then get these lights working and clean up all of this. Already it's starting to look so much better.
Yeah, it's gonna look pretty good. Test one. See if the front lights will work. Oh, that's nice.
That is much brighter than they were before, yeah. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, finally didn't screw it up this time, so hopefully Rich doesn't put me on wiring duty anymore, because it's like working with your ex-girlfriend, it just doesn't work.
But now you understand how relays work. You made a nice box.
Yep.
Like it is very important to understand what's going on and to do a nice job at the same time. So we got the light going up in the cabinet, and I want everything nice and neatly ran so that this is the last time that this wiring is done. So we got the lights in the cabinet. We got these lights in the back. Yeah, doesn't that make you feel good?
Yeah, it looks better than before.
Yeah. All right, so the young guy did a really nice job. We got a lot of work done. Look at that. Look at that battery box compared to before. We got nice, neat, new, clean connections that are heat shrink, a nice fuse breaker panel with some wires that he labeled with tags. He's got everything tucked away in the headliner nice up top there. We got the wires running to the back. And then he went home. And then he left it like this and he went home late on a Friday night because he doesn't want to keep working on my stuff on a weekend, and he shouldn't. So he was getting a little bit frustrated, a little struggling with the wiring, but it's good to struggle once in a while and push through. When it's finished, it's very rewarding. So I would make him finish on Monday, but we need this video out. So I've done a little bit already. I'm going to finish up the last of this little bit of wiring. We've got these little LED lights that are going to go right up here. We're gonna hook those up yet. Nice quick little bracket. It's just a leftover aluminum piece, drilled 2 holes. Put a ground to this back set screw because as this thing pops open, it disconnects the ground, shuts the light off. We got a wire coming in. This case is wood, but we're gonna put this nice little bracket right here, like so. Look at how pretty that is. And then we need to run a ground outside, so this is already bolted to a ground on there. The other ground goes to here. You can turn the light on and off with the button, but we're gonna leave it on. So when you open the cabinet, the light comes on, and then it's a little LED, it can run for days before the battery goes dead. Now the only spot to really put it is up here, but the shelf kind of hides it. So the light's gonna come over here, like down, but this shelf is in the way. So the shelf is handy. Maybe we'll just put a mirror on the back side here pointing up this way, and then we'll shine the light into it there. I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but at least we'll see what it looks like in the dark. Here we go. That was way too much work to get that working, but this light is absolutely perfect because it like lights up the top half. The cabinet doesn't get into the shadow until about halfway in the cabinet, and I'm okay with that. And then I love this, absolutely love it. This is a beautiful little bracket. When you close the door, the light goes off, and then when you open the door, the light does not come back on again. Because I clearly did not read the fine print on the bottom of the Amazon link that says you have to push the button to make that thing go on every single time. But you know what? This is exactly how I planned it, because I watched Breaking Bad and I understand what happens when you have a slow trickle drain on your battery while you're in the desert in your underwear, and your vehicle won't start. Like cops get involved, you start fighting with your friends. It's terrible. So now, when during the day you open this cabinet, the light doesn't come on. At night, push the button, the light comes on, and if you forget to turn it off, it will still turn off when you close the cabinet door. It's exactly the way I planned it, because if it doesn't go according to plan, just change your plan and pretend that was the plan all along. And there's no way I'm changing that because that took way too long. Here we go. All right, so I know I did say we were gonna do brakes in the rear, the spare tire holder, but we ran out of time this week. Baxter did an amazing job, I think, so comment down below. Give him a little bit of a hard time. Don't let his ego get too big, but we're gonna get him to keep working on this. So we got an awning coming. That's gonna be new instead of the blue. It's gonna be black. Spare tire holder, brakes. I really wanted to take my time and show him how to do the brakes. Okay, so I know that I said we were gonna put a new sticker on it, and that's not the important part though. The important part is Look at that, nice and shiny, no rust, no corrosion. And it's really weird. The whole truck is in good shape other than the bull bar rotted off and these two doors. But we managed to find those in Africa and now they're on. The only thing that bothers me is that it's faded and lower. It doesn't line up. So we're either gonna remove the sticker altogether, buff it, keep it a nice clean white look, or put a new sticker on it. Comment down below what you think we should do. If this One Life Live It is dated or if it's just part of Yoda's kind of charm and we should leave it alone. We did a lot of effort into this, and if you stand back at the end, Kitty, we just painted the hood. It didn't take much effort to spruce it up, do all those extra little things to touch up the paint and bolt everything down properly and wire things properly. We got the wood cut for Yoda's roof rack, but we also got the wood cut for the C10 and the 55. So check out Woodland Mills. If you've got all these little projects, it's not a bad investment and it's kind of fun to get out of the shop, smell some sawdust rather than diesel fumes. I cannot wait to go and use this thing this summer with the family, local. We got provincial parks, we got some fields, we're just gonna do some camping around the area. And I don't know why, I really, really love this truck. It's old, it's tired, but I just feel a bit of an attachment to this one, more so than Barbie. But if you haven't checked out the Africa trip, we toured these things all through Namibia, Botswana, South Africa. We shipped them home, drove them through Eastern Canada, and the adventure continues because we're not done with these things by a long shot. So I didn't do as much on this because over here, we've got the full exhaust system, we've got a generator, we got mounts. I am full tilt on the Ram charger. If you didn't know what we were doing, that's the Edison kit that we're putting into it, and the parts are rolling in nice and quick. Now I got lots to do on this and I want to get this done as soon as possible. So I think there's one more week left investing in there. If you guys head over to edisonmotors.ca, the portal to invest is there. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Get out there and work on it. Here we go.